Fearless Female Fridays with Ayanda MVP on 947. Every guest will leave you feeling inspired, confident, and ready to take on the world.
Good afternoon, Paige. Welcome to 947 Fearless Female. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I cannot stop looking at your background. So at some point in time, my eyes might just drift above your head. Joburg wants to know, what do you do and how long did it take to get to where you are right now?
So I work in the automotive industry. Our family started a business called, I don't know if you've heard of Shelby. So it's an American brand. Carol Shelby started, and it's an upgrade of Mustang. So we started Shelby. We got the rights in 2015 and started it in 2016 in South Africa, and then we started a business called Road to Race as well. So before that, I had an events company, and I still have it. But when we started these automotive businesses, I just couldn't, say no to helping my dad get Shelby started in South Africa. So my events company's taken a bit of a back seat, and then my passion and sport that I've done pretty much my whole life is racing drivers. So it's not my day job, but it's a very big part of my life.
When did that bug hit you that said, I love this automobile industry?
We were born into it. My dad's a really well-known racing driver in South Africa and internationally. He started water skiing and then power boating and then cars. We 3 daughters, and my older sister and I were given power boats. She was 6, I was 5, just to try out at the Vaal River while my dad was training some of the development guys. And I got out the boat and I was like, cool, I'm ready to race. And my older sister was like, this is not for me. So I started in boats when I was 5, and eventually at 7, they granted me a license. You only meant to get a license at age 8. But I hacked and nagged, and eventually they watched my driving and gave me a license at 7. So I started in power boats at 7, but we all very speed car orientated. My older sister is the most knowledgeable person you will ever meet on cars. She will school any man, engine, brakes, cars, everything. So we're all like that. My younger sister also works in the industry and also knows a lot about cars. And she also at shows when she worked with us before, just took no rubbish from any man. They thought they knew what they were talking about, and she would go correct them. My dad's racing team workshop was at our house, in our garages. On a big property in Joburg. So we grew up with it. We didn't really have a choice.
So do you constantly want to drive when you're in a position where you have to be a passenger?
On the road daily, I really just enjoy someone driving me because I don't know, I think I do it so often, and I get my kick out of it on the weekends when I race. That
no,
I'm
Paige,
not helping her drive it.
I think it's because the road is too basic for you. It's too basic. You need space. You need turns, and you need Kyalami Grand Prix vibes. That's the only race place that I know. Do you think that you might maybe want to, let's say when you have kids one day, also show them out in terms of racing, or would you rather just end it here with your generation, with your sisters and your family?
Both my sisters are married to racing drivers, and my older sister. Yeah, and my older sister's pregnant, which is super exciting. So we're already planning. My mom already bought a little remote control car to put the kid in. So I don't think any kid in our family is gonna have a choice, to be honest. Yeah. I was brought up in a family where my parents never said no to anything. We were never ever told it's a boys' sport or you can't do it because you're a girl. We wanted to do anything. They were like, cool, you want to go play with the tool and build an engine, go. And I think that's just given me such a great outlook on how I want to be as a parent one day. So I'll never force my kids to do anything, but I'd love them to love cars and want to race.
Is there a certain time where you have to physically not race anymore because of your age?
If you're in very professional F1, you can't race too long. I think it takes a lot out in your body. I don't think you realize what you put your body through. But my dad is retiring from racing next Saturday, which is really bittersweet for me. And he has been racing for 43 years, and he is currently 66, and he's still winning championships and races and still kicking 20-year-olds' butts.
Yeah, because they don't know.
Is there a limit? No. And he's proven that. And these guys who are also older than him that are still racing, more for fun than professionally. But if you've been through a lot in racing like he has, it takes a toll on your body. So he's at that point now where his body is sore and he's really, it's a struggle every time he gets into the car and pushes himself. But there's no real limit to time. You can really race, like especially historics, you can race as, you know, as long as you want, as long as you're healthy enough to, because you do stress ECG tests and, you know, things like that. So if your health is okay, then you can race as long as you want.
Do you also have to go to the gym and like train?
You do have to be pretty fit, you know, to race. And I don't think we realize the strength in our necks from the G-forces and holding your helmet up, you know, things like that. So yeah, like my seatbelts bruised me after a race weekend. I'm literally like black where my seatbelts have been from pulling tight. Your neck is a bit stiff. So yeah, I don't think you realize, you know, you think you're just sitting in a car, but you're not. Like, I think your body goes to a lot more. So I generally try to stay quite fit, but yeah, it is definitely a requirement, especially in the more serious, you know, like you look at the F1 guys, how they train, it's scary. Like they literally have helmets on in the gym doing neck exercises to strengthen their necks. And yeah, so it's very intense. I've
never seen that behind the scenes. Are the six packs there when they have their helmets on? Do they look good? Okay, yeah. I'll YouTube it at some point in time. Where can young girls go that want to also start driving and their parents are like, no, you're too young?
Just to get into motorsports, you either need to know someone or have an in or have a pretty decent budget. And if you're just starting out, it's really difficult. But there are a few academies. So VW have done some academies for youngsters. Go-karting is the best way to go. So if you really want to get into, the best place to start is to find a school. So there's some at that K Motorsport place at Swartkorps, and then they'll start training you for, you know, for racing with go-karting. And that's where I think you would learn the most. When it comes to the automotive industry as a career, there are quite a few women, and more you see like dealer principals now are women, which is amazing. There's definitely been a movement to empower women in the industry, which I love, because, you know, a few years ago when we started Shelby, there were very few of us.
What would you say is being fearless for you?
You go through a lot in this sort of industry and sport where a lot of people try to bring you down, especially males. And I think, you know, it's common across most areas, but it's a lot harder when you're in a male dominated space in everything you do. So my daily life is male dominated, my sports. And I think you've just got to have a really strong belief in where you want to go in your life, what you want to achieve, and know you're going to get there, and have the confidence in yourself to believe in yourself that no matter what you come across, you will overcome it. You will learn from it, and you'll take a step forward from it, and, you know, you will succeed. And some days are harder than others, but I'm lucky. I have an incredible father who has really just been like a backbone, you know, in the industry for me in racing and in my career. And that's helped a lot. But yeah, you've got to be a pretty strong person.
Nah, top 3 cars.
My boyfriend and I have this conversation all the time. He lives on YouTube watching cars, and we always try to work out like what we would choose, and it's so difficult. Probably a daily, I would choose like a Range Rover. I love like an SUV, big car, like big on the road. Yeah. So yeah, a bit of luxury there. So I really like a Range Rover. Definitely a Shelby. So I'm biased because we brought it into South Africa, but I love Shelbys. Yeah. So I would definitely convertible Super Snake to Lingua something, or Carol Shelby edition, and I would love like a his and hers. I think like in the garage, a girl can have a convertible, and then I would probably go for like a Ferrari Pista or something.
Yo, you've got great choices. What draws you to saying that's a good car when you have the chat with your boyfriend and you're like, oof, this is definitely a car I'd like?
When it comes to looking at cars, I think it's a combination of the look. You got to like be drawn to it, because if it doesn't, like, you know, if your heart doesn't beat when you see it, then there's no point. So you got to be drawn to the look of it, but at the same time, like the engine, torque, horsepower, that's always a conversation that comes into play, because, you know, you got to have fun while driving.
Exactly.
You can't just drive something for the sake.
Definitely. Right now in South Africa, the petrol is just going up and up, and it's ridiculous, Paige. So now I'm definitely considering getting like something electric, but I want to know if it's going to be worth it. What are the chats about it right now? Do you think race cars will be electric at some point?
With Eskom in South Africa, the electricity is not very reliable. So how are we going to have electric cars when we don't even have power? So I don't know. It's not very practical right now in South Africa, I would say. Do I love electric cars? No. When a car starts, you got to hear it. Like that sound when like a V8 engine starts and roars is Like, that's what gets your blood going.
Is that
like,
what
your
petrol
heart
does?
rate
It makes it go. Vroom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
Like these electric cars start and you can't even like hear anything coming. And I'm like, oh, it can't be the future. It can't. I don't love them. I know it might be better for the environment, but a car needs to have a noise. And I mean, you look at F1 back in the day compared to now already, like they're so much quieter and more timid than what they were back in the day. So if it's going to become quieter and quieter and quieter, you're going to stand there and watch silence. Like what?
You know, the GTI drivers that like making the car pop. What is the reason behind it? Why are people always pressing the accelerator and the brake at the same time? And then you hear that like that.
It's from the exhaust. It's from the exhaust, and it's just an ego thing, I guess.
Paige, thank you so much. Is there any last words that you'd like to share?
Listening to a really cool audiobook at the moment called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And yeah, it's just about sort of taking every day, in your stride and don't let the small things bother you. But yeah, for every woman out there, guys, you can do anything. Anything is possible.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And I will definitely touch base with you so we can link up and do a bit of leisure stuff. And then maybe one day you can take me around the race course.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Awesome. This has been awesome.
947 with Ayanda MVP.